actually raining in certain spots. I actually had to bring out my umbrella too. And what did I read today? How about this one? You've often heard stories of police wanting to use their drones, but people are uneasy about it for, I guess, things like privacy reasons. How about this one, where I guess if you're able to access all of the drone footage that the police captures, would that actually make people easy? Do they have the right to say, no, you're not allowed to see it? This one says, public has right to view certain police drone videos. California Appeals Court rules. So what was going on here, huh? It says cities and counties in California are increasingly using drones to look for criminal suspects and missing persons and scan wildfires and other emergencies. Now, a state appeals court says journalists and the public can have access to drone videos unless they were being used for a criminal investigation. A 911 call about a mountain lion roaming a neighborhood, a water leak, or a stranded motorist on the freeway could warrant the use of a drone, but do not suggest a crime might have been committed or is in the process of being committed, the 4th District Court of Appeal in San Diego said Wednesday. Videos from those searches must be released, the court said, except for footage that would violate an individual's right to privacy. The 3-0 ruling overturned a San Diego County judge's decision allowing the city of Chula Vista to withhold videos from all drones sent by police in response to 911 emergency calls. So again, that's kind of interesting to think about. Would you actually be more okay with the police using, let's just say, drones to capture footage and all that, if you're allowed to see it, kind of like, I guess, body cams per se? If there's nothing, I guess, to hide, or there's no active investigation, as they say anyways. It says, this is an important case. The public has an interest in how a city is using drones, whether it's complying with its own rules and properly respecting privacy, said David Loy, legal director of the First Amendment Coalition in San Rafael. And as it goes on to say, banning disclosure of all drone videos would blunt public understanding of the technology that is being used to replace basic police activity. Loy's group argued in a court filing also signed by the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a privacy rights group. Richard Pignard, a lawyer for the Peace Officers Research Association of California, said it was a very thorough and well-written ruling that should not disrupt police practices. So what were some of the reasons, I guess, on why they wanted to not release these videos public? It says, in opposing release of the videos, lawyers for Chula Vista cited a 2001 state Supreme Court ruling that allowed a sheriff's office to withhold records of an individual's call to report a possible crime and the office's response. Attorneys for Arturo Castaneras, a journalist who sought video footage from the city from a 1-month period in 2021, cited a 2017 ruling by the state's high court that said the public could obtain records of millions of automated license plate searches by police and sheriff's office in Los Angeles because they were not records of individual investigations. There's always these little, I guess, technicalities when it comes to this stuff, huh? Either way, again, you should be able to access it, I guess, publicly if there's nothing specifically that would jeopardize, let's just say, some kind of case and all that, because I can just imagine people abusing like all these wordings and stuff too, just to conceal evidence and all that. So I don't know, to me it sounds like a good thing overall. There's more transparency anyways. And in terms of things like laws and all that, this was kind of interesting to think about. I know here recently they've been trying to, in a sense, legalize, I guess, drugs because they say certain people that are addicted to it, for example, need it. It says here, BC court blocks new law against public drug use, warning of irreparable harm. The BC Supreme Court has blocked new provincial laws against public consumption of illegal substances. The ruling in favor of the Harm Reduction Nurses Association imposes a temporary injunction until March 31st, with the judge saying irreparable harm will be caused if the laws come into force. Restricting Public Consumption of Illegal Substances Act was passed by the legislature in November, allowing fines and imprisonment for people who refuse to comply with police orders not to consume drugs in certain public places. The Nurses Association argued the act, which has yet to come into effect, would violate the Canadian Charter in various ways if enforced. But Chief Justice Christopher Hinkson said in his ruling issued Friday that it was unnecessary to turn those arguments since the, quote, balance of convenience and the risk of irreparable harm weighed in the plaintiff's favor. I accept that the lone drug use may be particularly dangerous due to an absence or a diminished degree of support in the event of an overdose. Hingston's ruling says, when people are isolated and out of sight, they are at much higher risk of dying from an unreversed overdose. The law would allow police to order people to cease using an illegal substance in a specified area or to leave that area. The places specified in the act include sports fields, beaches, or parks within 6 meters of building entrances and within 15 meters of playground, skate park, or wading pool. People who refuse can be fined up to $2,000 and imprisoned for up to 6 months. It makes me wonder actually if that would actually be practical. If the guy's already addicted to drugs and all that, would the fine or putting them in jail in that sense actually work in this situation anyways? Although that is interesting to think about with things, for example, people going after kids flying toys, for example, drones and all that. There's people arguing people should be able to, I guess, just freely use drugs per se in the open public. What a crazy way to think about it, huh? Where are the priorities in that sense? And with the New Year's coming, I know here anyways, is just not the same as before, where so many events and stuff have been canceled, like fireworks and all that, and apparently even things being broadcast on TV, like New Year's countdowns and stuff like that, are going to be canceled too. This one says, CBC to skip New Year's Eve broadcast special due to financial pressures. New Year's Eve will look much different this year on CBC TV. Canada's public broadcaster told the Canadian press on Friday that financial pressures have led the network to cancel this year's countdown, which inched towards midnight with musical performances and a fireworks show. This year, CBC plans to air a new, quote, Just for Laughs special hosted by comedian Mai Martin on Sunday at 11 p.m. in most markets. The hour-long tape show will not include a countdown. It will be followed at midnight by episodes of Comedy Night with Rick Mercer as the new year rolls in. The program also streams on CBC Gem. That's kind of interesting in that case. I know there's been a lot of criticism of that network, the CBC and all that. People say they should be defunded and all that. So what would you think in this case? Would you think it's no big deal? New Year's countdown and so forth? At the same time, it makes me wonder how much of a budget do you need just to create like a little timer, for example. Like they say they're airing this show, even to put like a little ticker or something saying here's like the New Year's, the last couple of minutes. I don't think it'll be that expensive with it, or at least using their social media accounts. But either way, there's so many things disappearing in terms of New Year's celebrations and all that. As they mentioned, like fireworks, for example. All right, see you guys later.